Paul, King of the Fish. Episode 5. Fang. The Volvo was bouncing down the woodland path alongside the river, fresh mud coated on its metallic green finish. Inside, a man, a girl, and a dog were all relaxing after a tranquil afternoon's fish. None were wearing seat belts. Kylie, the young girl with severe brain damage, looked over to her lovely doggy Pukum. A small trail of saliva dribbled from her twisted lips as she stroked its glistening coat. Of course, the glisten was a result of the weeping sores that littered its body, like confetti on a bride, but Kylie didn't care. Kylie loved Pukum. After the horrible car crash that had killed her parents, left her mentally incapable, and removed Pukum's leg, the doggy had been the only creature to ever show her love. Her foster father always looked at her strangely, and mumbled about hockey sticks, and his porcine wife was as strict as she was corpulent. Only the half-blind Pukum with his frothy gums, extreme diarrhea, and tripodity ever seemed to treat her as a human being. But now she noticed that Pukum was aggravated. The dog's floppy ears perked up just a little, and a small trickle of blood dribbled from his nose. Little did Kylie know that toxins were pouring into the wretched hound's little body from the parasites vacating his previous fish supper. With that, Pukum started to vomit. Just a little to start, but then a whole stream of blooded bile poured from the mutt's maw as it started a burbling whine. Sebastian, Lord of Parasites, had just broken up inside the dog and released a toxic payload of virus and disease. Kylie was starting to scream, but John, her foster father, paid no attention. Kylie often screamed for no reason. He was at 70 miles per hour on a country road and was not about to see what the brat was whinging about. He wished, in fact, that he had never accepted the little cripple into his home. By now, little Pukum's brain functions were shutting down as blood clots riddled his degenerate cerebrum. His atrophied musculature started to convulse, forcing the contents of his stomach through his guts, but clamping his rectum tightly shut. Were it not that the dog was already unconscious, the pain would have been incredible. The dog's belly started to expand, and the surgical scar along its abdomen started to gently seep. At this stage, Kylie had suffered extreme mental trauma and was now quietly shaking, all the color now bleached from her little albino boat race. However, when the pressure built up in the shaking Pukum's alimentary canal reached breaking point, she had reason to scream. Pukum burst apart like a used condom, slapped against a stone wall. A mixture of blood, bile, lymph, shite, skin, and bone exploded from the beast, coating the inside of the car as efficiently as 10 skinheads with lots of time and spray paint. In addition, a regal but semi-digested pike flew from the corpse and slapped Kylie across the face. She went fucking mental. She immediately jumped forward for the security of her foster father and clamped her arms around the headrest and his head, holding on as tight as her fat little arms could. Unfortunately, she managed to cover up both his eyes and his nose, meaning that he could not see, and that when he drew breath, a mixture of dog egg, blood, and bile shot into his lungs, burning his throat and leaving him totally out of control. The shiny green Volvo burst off the road like a runaway train without rails, and was headed straight for a large oak that loomed above them, like a wooden monolith of death. John tried to brake hard as he vomited the blooded feces from his mouth, and little Kylie was catapulted over his head. In the final seconds before the crash, John managed to say a single word. Fuck. The bodies of John, Kylie, Pukum, and Paul were all catapulted from the vehicle, led by John and Kylie, who smashed the windscreen like a shotgun blast destroys a small crystal decanter. The 4 casualties flew through the air, like flayed pigeons winging their last towards ineffable destruction. Splash, splash, splosh, splish, they went as they landed in an oxbow lake 100 yards from the road. Their dead bodies contributed to the local ecology, and all was well in the world once more. The end. But no, something stirred amongst the carnage. A single figure, glistening, swam up from the bloodied carnage. It was a mighty pike. Paul, king of the fish, his semi-digested form was still powerful, even if he only had one fin and one eye left. He rolled over and over as he swam, but damn it, he was still alive. No one could fuck with Paul, king of the fish. No fucking one. Unfortunately, another truck had recently crashed in the area. An aquarium truck. As Paul spiraled around like a one-legged lunatic on a cocktail of speed and LSD, he didn't perceive the school of freshwater piranha that had been trapped in this little lake for over a week as they lasciviously approached. With a final flick of his tail, Paul turned around to be face to face with fully 36 hungry but healthy piranha. His blurry eye just made out their fierce teeth and anger-ridden features in the 2 seconds before they reached him. Paul managed to say one word. Fuck. I hope you have enjoyed this story. Paul, King of the Fish is brought to you as a Anthonie production. Anthonie E Wain, widely known for his fear of shellfish, is a professional forklift driver and international playboy. He has worked for many years in Britain, Australasia and Asia. Related to Anne Boleyn, he is so posh his mum's maiden name is the same as his dad's surname. Good night.